is Tristan with nerdettes-newsstand, and for the 10th anniversary of The Walking Dead, we are here to talk about the series as a whole, the characters, and I have a special guest with me. Kenny, how are you today?
Good.
Good. So, this is a game that I absolutely love. Now, we did talk about the comic book last week, and we're not going to mention that again because we're going to pretend like it doesn't exist. But out of curiosity, just a brief idea, what did you actually think of the continuation through the Clementine book?
I hate it. It's terrible.
I kind of figured everybody hates that book, and we're not going to focus on the bad. We're going to focus on the good. What's that?
It's not. They should have picked a better author. It's not the author's fault. They should have picked someone that was more experienced with the game.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And for her to say she really wasn't a huge fan of the game, it was really a shame. I think it could have been something great, and it's unfortunate that it's not. So
Yeah.
let's talk about the fun, though. Let's talk about the actual games that came out. Now, it came out with Walking Dead 1, 2, A New Frontier, and the final season. Now, when it comes to these games, let's start with characters first, because
Okay.
a lot of people really loved what they did with these characters. I'm going to take a gander, but who's your favorite character?
Kenny.
I love Kenny. He's such a great character, and it was such a great reveal to see him come back into. That was an amazing reveal. I absolutely loved it. So let's start with the first game, though. This game was one of those that had you really invested into the characters. What was your initial reaction when you played through on season 1?
Well, at the end of the game, I tried to save the lead like 15 times. I just kept playing it over and over, the episode.
How did you figure out it couldn't happen?
Looked it up.
I figured. I loved it. I wish there was a way to save Lee, but I think his sacrifice was what really drove Clementine throughout the entire rest of the season, because they weren't together for how long were they together for?
They were what, Lee and Clem?
Yes.
I think about maybe 9 or 10 months, because
that's what I thought too. And he had a huge impact on her life. Like, one of the things that really kind of stuck with her was some of the choices you made when you were with Lee, some of the things that the dialogue back and forth. And she taught him basically how to survive in that atmosphere. And I think that was really a great setup as far as this game goes. What was in season 1 your most like awe-stricken moment? The moment where you were like, oh my God, that just happened.
Probably when Kenny died or Lee got bit.
Wait, what? Wait, what?
When people thought Kenny was dead, when he got like surrounded by the herd.
Yeah. I agree, but I had faith. I had faith that Kenny would return. I really did. Now, I think for me it was I can't think of her name right off the top of my head. Duck's mother.
Oh, Katja. When she shot herself.
That was horrible. Like, just tears streaming down my face to see what was taken from Kenny in those moments was horrifying. Like, his whole life was over at that time.
He lost his whole family in the span of like half an hour.
What irritates me about that, though, is Katja was super selfish. Absolutely selfish.
Yeah, extremely. Because Kenny could have like been more sane if his wife was still here.
Yeah, he would have had somebody there to help him through Duck's death. And I really like Duck and Clem together. They kind of were able to have fun and be kids for a moment. And that was taken from Clem also. And then also the moment between Lily and I can't think.
God. Carly.
I can't think.
Carly or Doug.
She just blew her brains out.
Yeah, but this with the Katja and Duck thing and the Carly thing, it's all Ben's fault. If they would have just taken on the Raiders, a Duck wouldn't have got bit. That wouldn't have led Katja to shoot herself, and also Lily wouldn't have gone insane with the supplies missing.
Out of curiosity, did you let the first time you played it? Did you let Ben live or did you let him fall from the bell tower?
Well, I didn't even grab his hand. I just ignored him and let him get eaten by that walker.
Oh, so he didn't even make it that far.
No, I hear cats in the back.
Yes, always with the cats. I I was so irritated with Ben at that moment. I was like, yeah, you're just gone. Sorry, buddy. You're not making it any further. I had no problem killing him. It was pretty easy. Also, one
Well,
thing that they left kind of open in that series was the girl that they found with short hair. I think her name was Jane
Molly?
or Molly. That's what her name was. She we never actually found out what really happened to her.
Yeah. Um, yeah, it never says. She just leaves in the fourth season. We didn't get a hint or anything if she's alive or dead. Walker, I don't know. But looking back on it, I wish I did save Ben because he's only a kid and he made a mistake. I don't think he should have died.
Yeah, he would have technically because he was with his teacher, so he would have been in high school. So he was just as messed up as everyone else. He was the only one to make it from his group, right?
Yeah, and if you do save him, Kenny goes off, um, and he gets mad at Ben. And Ben never found out what happened to his little sister, mom or dad, he says.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
That's sad. That's really sad. What did you think of the twist when you get to Clem after going through all that with Lee? That it actually had to do with a very small moment of taking groceries in the beginning of it.
Well, that was super annoying, but if you did not steal the groceries at Lee from Lee, I don't know. But the stranger says we never actually learn his name, but he
Yeah.
says that he was just coming after the rest of the group, but after what Clem says on the radio about you maybe killing one of the St. John's brothers with a pitchfork or just leaving a lily behind, he judges you for that.
Oh, okay, that makes sense. See, I was like, yeah, we need groceries, gotta feed the family. I'm taking them. I thought that was a really good twist though, because the guy was absolutely insane. Like he had his wife's head in a bag.
Yeah, it's messed up. What do you think about the theory? I don't know what the word's called, but Lee in the first game started in handcuffs when he was being driven to the police,
Right.
and also when his death happened, he was in handcuffs. So people had a theory about that. I'm not sure what the word was, but there was a theory that like he never left or something.
Oh, like it was some sort of like dream state or something?
Yeah. And also,
Ooh,
in the first season, you know how you gotta like look at the mirror in the cop car?
yes.
In the final season, right in the beginning, you gotta move the rear view mirror to look at AJ. So both games start
Oh,
off the
yeah.
same.
They pull a lot of parallels. I never even really thought about that. That's really cool that they think of
I've done
those.
too much research.
They do those little teeny details, those little teeny callbacks. I love stuff like that.
Yeah. Um, I did not know this at first. It was either in 2012 or 2013. The first game won Game of the Year award.
I mean, I think they all should have.
Yeah,
But I'm a little biased there.
yeah.
That's awesome though. It's a
So,
shame that we're not going to get any more. I know.
I could really go off with the comics right now, but we're talking about the game.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
We're talking about the good. That's the best part is the game. So for number one, what would you give it? We're gonna give all of four of the games overall after we talk about them individually. Out of a
Okay.
10, what would you give it?
I don't think it's a perfect 10 because there was many glitches when I played and there's a little bit of plot holes like you said with Molly. I say a 9.7.
I think that's fair. I would say 9.5. It's pretty dang close to perfect, but there's just a few little tweaks they can do and a few like little animation things. But other than that, like the storytelling was a 10 for me, but there was because of the glitches and stuff, it takes it down just a little bit. I think
Well,
that's pretty fair.
I think the story for me is a 9.8 or a 9.9, only because like I really want to know what happened to Molly, and I really liked Molly's character.
Yeah,
I
she
just
was really cool.
wish she didn't leave. There actually is an option where if you don't teach Clem how to shoot, she dies.
Aw,
Clem shoots her, and then she gets
what a
eaten.
dick.
It's because you didn't teach her.
Well, why would you? Okay, I question anybody that doesn't teach her unless they're just doing the bad decisions, and that's fun too. But
I've
I
seen some
absolutely
mean
love
bad
that game.
decisions. Like they're so mean. You can tell when you're on the train, you can just tell Clem her parents are dead, and she starts crying.
No, why would you do that?
I don't know.
Holy crap! What jerk? That would be like hard to make those decisions. It would be.
Yeah, because it would just be like it wouldn't be like cringe, but it would be hard to look at.
It would be so sad. Oh my goodness. Okay, so
Yeah,
let's talk about game number 2. And game number 2 takes place a little bit later. There's a slight like
16 months.
16 months. That's what it is.
All right.
And
What do you feel about like right in the beginning when Omid gets shot?
that I did not. I don't know why I should have expected it, but I didn't because I was like, oh, look, they have a cute little family, a little baby on the way, and Clem's helping out.
Not anymore.
And that bitch just turns around and shoots him. Like, that was terrible. Absolutely terrible. I felt so bad for his wife, and I can't. You're going to be the name guy.
And he also called Leah Bozo.
Jerk.
Yeah.
um, so then you skip, and do they ever specify what happens to the baby?
There is a little hint to it. If you fast forward to the 5th season and Jane comes back from the snowstorm without AJ, Clem, like you don't have to pick the dialogue. She automatically says no, not again. Like I think the
Oh,
baby got lost.
goodness gracious, that's freaking horrible. Um,
Yeah.
I babies just besides AJ in that atmosphere, they just don't stand a chance. Like absolutely,
Well,
they cry, they bring noise. It's just too
well,
hard.
it was such a risk for AJ too because he also cried. But they
Yeah,
got lucky with Richmond. Even being taken away from Clem, she still got lucky.
yeah. It's quite possibly the only reason why AJ survived, even.
Yeah. But like in the Walking
Miracle
Dead
baby.
series show, Judith is still alive.
Yeah. Yeah, I forgot Judith. See, Judith didn't make it out in the comics, if I remember correctly. But they changed that for the show. I thought that was one of the good changes that they did.
Yeah, Glenn.
I know, it's so sad. Okay, so the game continues, and basically we see Clem join up with a new group. Now, of
Can't call
this
everyone
group,
Pete, by the way.
I'm gonna call them Pete. They're all Pete. They're all Pete.
Mm, you always call Luke Pete.
I know.
Pete is the
Luke,
old guy that got eaten in the beginning.
Oh yeah, that jerk. I hate him. I hate. Oh yeah, because of the cannibals. Oh my goodness. There's so
What?
much good. The people that were eating the people.
No, in the beginning of the second game.
Wait,
The
there's
people that got
another
eaten by the
Pete.
cannibals was Mark.
Oh my god, there's so many Pete's in this game.
There's one Pete in the main storyline and there's one Pete in Michonne.
There's so many. Oh my god. No, I'm just kidding. That new group. I can say right off the bat, they definitely were going for something like autism with Sarah, but she was so annoying.
Yeah, she's like one of the worst characters in my opinion. Like the supposed to be good characters, she's like the worst.
Yeah, and I get why they take the precautions with Clem. I understand it, but I still like think it was a shit thing to do. Why not give her a bed and like handcuff her to it? That put her in a
Yeah.
freaking death trap.
Yeah, like they also didn't sew her arm, so she could have got infected, died. She could have became a walker, and they would have thought she actually got bitten. And also, I don't believe Carlos is a real doctor. There's no way he can't tell a dog bite from a human bite. He's not a real doctor.
That's what I was wondering too. I'm like, you seriously? Like, there's totally different type of teeth imprints. This is
Yeah,
clearly a dog bite. You idiot! Like, come on now.
yeah. I just don't understand why Carlos had the need to look. I just don't understand Carlos.
I don't either. And then there was the other character, the brother, who's super annoying too. Like I
Luke,
liked
Nick.
Nick.
Nick
Nick
is
is
the
like
one that kind of looks like
every
Vanilla Ice.
yeah, but he's like every angsty teenager ever.
Yeah, except angsty teenagers don't usually kill people.
That's debatable if you watch the news, but sure.
Not
um
every.
That's true. That's true. But he got super annoying, and then they end up, and they also have Alvin and the lady who's a bitch at the beginning, but she
Yeah,
ends up.
Rebecca becomes a better character.
She's really rude right off the bat, but you gotta I gotta show some respect to Rebecca because she is AJ's mother.
And she was pregnant, so like, if you were pregnant during the apocalypse, that nah.
Hormones, yeah, it would be
Yeah.
terrible. And then
Probably
we
some
meet,
bad pregnancy cravings. Probably
yeah, hopefully
mustard
not
on
human
pickles
meat.
on human meat.
Ew. And then we meet Carver, who basically is
Negan.
psycho. Yeah. Not is he like Negan? Kinda
No,
like
not really. But do have to say, it is annoying how they only have you in Carver's camp for one episode. I would at least have to say they should do it for 1.5, because Carver, we didn't get enough of Carver to make the death scene as satisfying as it was.
yeah, and when he killed the one guy, he was actually pretty funny. Like I liked that character.
Oh, Reggie.
I liked that character. And then he just like I think they wanted you to like him so you were like holy shit this guy is crazy. But even so, I loved kind of his dialogue back and forth. And we also meet Jane there, who I thought was super weird at first. She kind of had that like whole Ruby Rose thing going on.
Hate
And
her.
I don't like I think I'm supposed to like Jane at some point, but I don't. I don't care for that character at all.
Yeah, like, she wanted to make Kenny think that AJ was trapped in the snow for no apparent reason at all, just because she wanted to prove a point to Clem, and that
That was
actually could have got AJ killed,
yeah. That was
and she
like
could have
I knew I
stopped
didn't.
it.
Well, yeah, she did that to prove a point, but the point was that Kenny was crazy. When clearly Kenny, most 99.9% of the time, always is just doing the best for everybody else and trying really hard for Clem. Like, I felt so bad when his lady passed away. That was
Yeah,
terrible. Like, they put Kenny through so much. Of course, he's not going to be perfect. And she just wanted to be a dick about it.
I absolutely hate how Carlos treats Clem, because um like when they were in the truck going to Carver's camp and Clem tried to say something, Carlos goes, "It's an adult conversation." And also he tries to stop you before you get to um Kenny's lodge of going over the bridge with Luke.
And then when Sarah is freaking out and they're walking through the walkers, after treating
Oh my
Clem like
god.
crap, he's like, get her under control. Like, you're her dad. What?
Yeah. Well, no, the only reason that she went totally insane is because her dad got shot, remember? And she went,
Yeah.
"Daddy!" And then went kind of crazy.
Yeah. And like, I was kind of like, phew, got rid of this bitch. Like, well, you
But then she
didn't,
came
because she
back.
does come back. Yeah. And I thought that was a really cool moment in when they're in that little trailer and Sarah is freaking out and Luke is trying everything to get her to move, and she actually does for Clem if you pick the right decisions. I thought that was a really cool like redemption moment,
Only
but it
if you
doesn't
slap
last.
her.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes a little violence helps apparently.
Yeah, pimp slap.
A lesson for your kid. If somebody doesn't listen, hit them in the face.
Especially if you're surrounded by walkers.
Yeah. That's the little thing there. But yeah, I thought they were going to do some sort of redemption with Sarah, and they just kind of did more of the same. And she was just I get what they were going for, but it just didn't work for me.
Yeah, like, if there was a chance where she could have at least lived with you and Jane and Kenny, that and AJ, that would have been kind of cool, because I think her death thing should have been during the snowstorm when the car crashes.
Right.
Or
Like that still makes me thinking about that moment with AJ and Jane still like gets my blood boiling. Like what kind of a human uses a child as bait or as a point to make to somebody? Like you're willing
monsters.
to risk so much. You are a monster, an absolute monster. What This is a really important question. On your first time through, what did you pick when you got to the camp? Did you stay with Kenny or did you stay at the camp?
What? Oh, Wellington.
Wellington.
I of course went with my boy Kenny.
Very smart, very
But
smart.
one thing we haven't talked about in the second game, remember when Mike and that stupid Bonnie tried to escape and bring all the
Oh, fuck
supplies,
those bitches.
which was threatening the baby's life, Clem's life, Jane, and Kenny's life. And then remember when the Russians shot Clem?
Yes,
There
Alvo,
is
right?
Arvo, yeah. There's
Arvo.
a terrible theory where that once Clementine gets shot, the rest of the games is a dream.
Oh, I don't like that theory at all. Not at
Neither do
all.
I.
No, that's terrible. No, I don't even like the same with the Lee one because it's kind of along the same line. Like this is all in their head. No, no, we
The
went
Lee
through
one
it.
doesn't make sense though, because Clem carries those things that Lee taught her. It really
Yeah,
doesn't make much sense.
no, it doesn't, and neither does really the Clem one either because of a lot of the stuff that goes on afterwards. But
Yeah, but it's supposed to believe that everything's made up. Like it's supposed to believe that there was no way that Clem survived the leg chopping, so it was all a dream.
okay, that's stupid, and I hate whoever made that theory. Now, I think Clem's strong enough, and I think that that's cutting her, kind of selling her short of how strong she actually is and what she's able to accomplish. Instead, just saying it's a dream doesn't makes it seem like she wouldn't be able to do those things, and I truly think she could.
Yeah. Wait, hold on. I know this isn't on the game mirror, but are you Lewis and Clementine or Violet and Clementine?
Violet, I love Violet. I like Lewis too. Don't get me wrong, but Violet felt
I picked
more
Lewis.
authentic. Ah, of course you did.
Lewis is funny. I
He
mean,
is.
Violet is cool, which is, but Lewis can play piano. He's funny, and
He's
man, if you
charming.
didn't pick, oh, okay, we'll wait till the fourth game to go more in depth with that.
Okay, so let's rate the second one. What do you give the second one out of 10?
Also, Luke's death, but
Oh, Luke's death. He
mm,
drowned.
it was supposed to be instead of Jane versus Kenny, it was supposed to be Luke versus Kenny, but all the Clem and Luke shippers were just
That is
weird.
that is so weird because he was clearly in his 20s and she was like 13.
Even if it's fictional characters,
It's
no.
still weird, guys. Yeah, no. No, 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 no. We don't do that. But yeah, he at least he died a heroic death. I'll give him that.
Okay, in my opinion, there's some flaws about this game. This is my favorite game. I'd say for the overall game, I have to give it a 9.94 probably. Only because I think the only flaw it has for me
Mhm.
um is the fact that it wasn't Kenny versus Luke, and also that you only stayed at Carver's camp for a little bit.
That's fair. Um, I think I'd give this one like a 9.0. And the only reason I say that is because I hate getting to know new characters, so that's hard for me to do. And a lot of these characters didn't grab my attention like the first season did. I felt like a lot of them were either irritating or shallow as compared to the first. The storytelling was really, really good. And I really enjoyed it. But I didn't feel like it was quite as good, I guess, as number one. But it was still really good.
Yeah.
So let's talk about number three.
Three.
So number three was A New Frontier.
Honestly, my
And
least favorite game.
okay, tell me why.
The only reason why is because number one, you never see Javi again, like ever, or Gabe or Kate, or any of the characters, even. And the episodes are way too short. Like I could play it in a day and it would just be done.
Well, yeah, and I see your point there, but you know what, I agree. I liked how they each started with a
Flashback.
flashback. I really enjoyed that. I liked seeing the family. But I don't know.
I wish Clem went back to Richmond in the 4th season. Because if you heard about it, Lily was fighting against Richmond. So I wish that Violet and all the others at the school went to Richmond to help Javi fight, and whoever survived the 3rd game would be there. So it could be Gabe, it could be Kate, it could be Gabe and Kate that's still alive, and Javi could be the leader, which would have been really cool. If for like a 5th episode instead of just 4 episodes.
That would have been really, really cool. I would have liked that a lot. So, what did you think of the family dynamic between the two kids, in the bus kind of traveling, our van kind of traveling around, and Javi and Kate? Did you enjoy the kind of more family dynamic with that?
I didn't enjoy it more than Clem, but I kind of liked how Javi was the uncle, and then Kate was the stepmom, and then they had 2 kids in the back that wasn't even Kate's, and it was kind of cool because 4 of them traveling at once. But I don't like how they killed Mariana.
Oh my God. I didn't expect that at all. And that was one of those oh shit moments for me because I was like, oh my God, this poor little girl. Like, I kind of expected, obviously, everybody wouldn't make it to the end, but it just didn't seem like the right moment. And that's what's so good about these series is they have a really good way of making moments that you just don't expect happen.
I know it was like Javi said in I think episode 2 or episode 3. Episode 3. Mariana just picked up her headphones. She was smiling,
Yeah.
and
She
then
was happy to be alive.
Badger just killed her.
Yeah, those guys are jackasses. But that was after we get to see Clem for the first time, right? Because
Yeah,
they're
yeah.
working together.
Yeah, because
I
Clem's robbed you, and then you go to Prescott with Trip
mm-hmm.
and Eleanor. I hate Eleanor.
Yeah, I don't like Eleanor either. I did like Trip though. I will say that.
She was Eleanor was actually really good until the 5th episode.
When she completely sells you out.
Yeah, it was so annoying. But so how did you think of what do you think about the twist that the brother running Richmond and you finding that out at the end of episode 2?
I thought that was real. Like, I fully expected that he was dead, and that's why he hadn't returned. Not that he just didn't go looking. I fully expected that he was dead. The rest of the family, there was no more. When I seen that was another jaw-dropping moment where you're like, "Oh my God!" But I kind of knew going into it, it wasn't going to be like this great thing because it's a game. You got to have conflict, right? And
Yeah,
I was like, we're
especially
saved,
in The
but
Walking
are
Dead.
we? Yeah, exactly. Oh, I got to ask because that happens right before. What did you think of Jesus?
Oh, we've met him in the show, but he is like super OP and cool.
He's
I
awesome.
think
I
he's
love it.
bisexual, but
Yeah, he is bisexual, but he's like, what does he say? Hi, my name's Paul, but my friends call me Jesus.
yeah.
I don't know what's so enduring about that character. He's got a lot of heart. And then when he shows back up later and he's like in a knight's costume, I'm like, it makes no sense. It's The Walking Dead, but we're going to make this work no matter what. This is awesome. He
Yeah.
was
Wait.
totally hitting on Javi, though.
Yeah, they were. Oh yeah, they're from Hilltop. Yeah, they're from Hilltop.
Who, Jesus?
Yeah, Jesus.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I thought that was I love that character. I wish we could have seen more of him, unfortunately.
He's only, I
But
think, he's in the 2nd and 5th episode.
yeah. Yeah, and I like
I
him
know
as
too
a
much.
character. That's the only reason I wanted more. He was one of those that were really, really like every time they were on there, they were great. Like unlike Gabe, who drove me absolutely insane. Another angsty teenager.
Yeah, but when he sold, like, if you do shoot Conrad for pointing a gun at Gabe and Clem, I hate the fact that Gabe sells you out because he got you stabbed.
Oh yeah. Yeah, fuck Gabe for that. So
Yeah,
I really Gabe annoyed me anyway, but it's still like it's Javi's kid, well, nephew, but
Javi's nephew, but kind
and
of
you
like stepdad, but like
yeah. Step he's daddy Uncle Javi. And to sell out your own uncle and then later on actually went to go with his dad irritated me also.
yeah, but you kind of gotta understand. Um, he thought his dad was dead, and he finally got to meet him again. It's just like a very hard situation to put a kid that age in.
Yeah, oh my god, I can't even imagine. But like the reason why it irritated me is because we've seen kind of a pattern from his dad that he was just making bad decision after bad decision.
Yeah, but when you're in the helicopter scene, I liked when Gabe said that every time when he was little, when his dad asked him what he wanted to be when he was a man,
That was
Gabe
so
always
sweet.
pointed at David, but then
Yeah,
he said that he wanted to be like Javi, and it was just a wholesome moment
it was
between.
a really wholesome moment. I love that. And that was one thing I wanted to make sure I mentioned. Not just this episode, but all of the episodes have really good dialogue. Like natural, realistic, what people would say in real life dialogue. And it doesn't none of it feels forced. It all feels like there's a great balance between sweet and scary and oh shit and what happens next. Like the dialogue in this show or in these games is
A show?
phenomenal. Yeah, show.
um, yeah, but in the third game, your choices get kind of like iffy because when you pick a dialogue option, it's not always like they don't exactly say what you choose,
Right.
which
It's a
is a
little
little
weird.
annoying. But what do you feel about the possible deaths of Gabe and Kate and the fact that you would either have to shoot Kate or let Gabe shoot himself or shoot Gabe and Gabe gets bitten by his dad?
So I was really, really lucky that I got the best ending
Yeah, you
because
got Gabe and Kate to survive.
I I didn't mean to, but I did and it was perfect. But looking over that the Kate scene is a little less heart like it's a little less jarring, but it's still jarring. But the one with Gabe where he has to shoot himself is terrifying. Like he just got his dad back. He gets bit by his dad, and now he has to commit suicide. It is horrible.
And or you can shoot him. But and also he like there's a scene in the car where Gabe teaches Clem how to play euchre or something. And
Euchre, yeah.
yeah, and then he tells Clem to take the cards to teach it to AJ, which I hate that they just skipped over that and you don't actually get to like in the fourth season where you play card games.
Yeah.
I wish that was one of the games so AJ could join in and Clem. That would have been a
That would
good
have
thing.
been really good. That would have been a really good like little callback to teach AJ how to do it. That would have been awesome. I never even thought of that.
Yeah, but only
What
if
did
Gabe like died,
right.
because that would be
But
the only way.
what did you that may be why they didn't put it in there though. Because
Yeah,
well, it
but
depends on your choices.
but in the fourth season, Lily does talk about some of the decisions that Lee made, so I bet they could have done
Right.
it.
I bet so. What did you think about the shipping of Clem and Gabe?
No, just no. Um,
He's way too good for her. I mean, she's way too
what?
good for
No,
him.
no.
I messed up my wording there. She is way. She's a 10, he's a 2. Come on now.
That's a little weird. She's 13.
Yeah, shut up. You
Nah,
know what I
Gabe's
mean?
an 11.
Personality wise, she's amazing. And he was just
He
so
was just
frustrating.
he was like a normal teenage kid, but like kind of annoying.
Yeah, definitely. Um, I don't like I don't know. I actually in that I didn't even realize it,
You
but
shipped
initially
Ava and Clem.
I was just gonna say I thought they were together. It's cute. I
No,
liked
it's
Ava a
not.
lot.
She's like 30. I looked it up. She's like I'm pretty sure it said late or mid 30s.
Okay, well that makes it so weird. We're just never gonna mention that again.
You're the one
I,
that shipped them.
I know, but I thought when she went in, when they had that little flashback, when they were in the little shack, kind of, she was, talking to her about when she had AJ. I thought it was I don't know. What did you think about what they did to Clem with AJ?
Uh, in that moment, that was really messed up. Just stealing AJ for her, not getting the medicine he needed. We're not even sure if he 100% needed that medicine. I don't think he did, but still, I spit in David's face instead of saying goodbye.
Did you really? Oh my god, that's funny. I think I hated it in that moment. You're right, but it also kind of was a blessing in disguise because we don't know if that he had a much better chance at survival in the compound than he had with them two on their own.
What do you mean them two?
Clem and AJ.
Oh yeah, I thought you meant something different. But yeah, Clem and AJ, even though Clem's strong, she wouldn't have survived. Maybe if they had Kenny still, which they gave Kenny the worst death. Like it makes no sense. He got by a car crash and his legs got broken. I hated it. They should have. They
That
gave
death was the
Trip a
worst.
better death.
And the thing that sucks, yeah, that Tripp's death was really heroic,
He
but
tripped.
it didn't chink. Kenny's death was it sucked because it would have always been trauma for Clem because she would always blame herself.
Yeah, because she was the one behind the wheel, and then it just crashed. But I think Clem had it under control. There was a little bit where Kenny grabs the steering wheel and like jolts it, but I think they would have survived if Kenny didn't do that. Or if he had his seatbelt on, or AJ would have had his cover on. There's a lot of
Yeah.
blame to go around.
Yeah, there is, but I just know how a person can blame themselves, and she's had so much death already. That felt a little unnecessary. Like if Kenny had to die, fine, but that one felt like, okay, how much more can you traumatize poor Clem? Like it's not. It was Kenny's death was, probably, I wouldn't say the worst one, but the most effect. Like it didn't make me cry the most, but it definitely was. I wish he was the one out of the whole series that survived.
Yeah. Um, Even if Kenny killed AJ and Clem, I'd still like him.
What? Wait, say that one more time.
Even if Kenny killed AJ and Clem in cold blood, he would still be my favorite.
Well, okay then. All right. Um, I can't say I can say the same about that, but I love Kenny. He's a great character. So then towards the end of this, let's talk a little bit about the compound because we have the four leaders, right? And they
Yeah.
are they
Joan, I forget his name. He's like,
the doctor?
no, I know it's Dr. Lingard, and then David, Joan, Dr. Lingard, and David, but I forget his name. There was a fourth one. He was blonde. I forget
Yes,
his
I know who
name.
you're talking about. But yeah,
But
they clearly they're not practicing what they preach, especially Joan. They're stealing the entire time, and then that's literally why Clem had to leave for stealing some medicine, and then it's such a fucked up situation. I wanted to kill Joan so badly.
um yeah, I did shoot Joan in the face, but it was kind of a bad decision because like everything happened because of that. But even if you wouldn't, um David would have killed the one that we still can't figure out the name of.
I know, I actually felt bad when he died because he was trying to help.
I think the whole thing was planned out. I think it was all an act. But what'd you think about killing Ava or Trip?
Oh my god. That's a terrible decision to have to make. And the only reason you even had to make that decision was because of
Eleanor.
Eleanor. She caused that entire thing, so I had to pick Ava to choose to live, and
But
that
then,
backfired spectacularly.
yeah. Um, Eleanor's like, if I tell Joan, maybe me and Trip will be all free. Uh, Trip gets kidnapped. Eleanor's like, no. That was a
Yeah,
horrible
she's
joke.
so dumb. Like her plan. I get what she was trying to do. She was trying to save her own ass, but it actually fucked up everything, and it's literally her fault. Ava got shot in the or Trip,
Ava
depending on
or
who you.
Trip, yeah. I
Yeah,
think Trip is better. But the
I
reason it makes it tough between it is because Trip got mad at you after Gabe told you about Conrad.
yeah, yeah, and Conrad was fucking. That was really the only best decision in that. So I get it. Like I made peace with Trip, but it also was like
Gabe Gabe calls you a coward if you don't shoot Conrad, then snitches you out if you do kill Conrad. It makes no sense.
see, that's what I mean. Angsty teenagers. He's freaking crazy. He does not deserve Clem.
What Javi should have done was shoot Gabe then shoot Conrad.
There we go. Problem solved.
All right, so what is your overall rating for the third game?
Ooh. I'm going to go a little bit lower with this one just because again, a couple of the characters I loved Kate. I thought she was awesome how she was real.
Oh wait,
She
there's
tried.
one thing we didn't talk about.
What's that?
What do you think about Javi and Kate's relationship or
I love
possible
it.
relationship?
I love it. Every time I get a chance to be sweet, I was
It's
sweet.
kind of weird though because David's your brother.
I don't
Like
care. It is weird.
mommy auntie, what is it?
They got daddy uncle and mommy auntie.
When you're
It's,
mom because
it's
you're
so
aunt.
it's so fucking weird. But I still I felt like after everything they deserved a little bit of happiness. And that's why I was like,
Yeah,
yeah,
me
okay.
too. All
And
right.
I really did. Thought Kate was a very realistic, believable character. So I'm so glad in mine she got to live. But I would say for this one, probably I'm gonna go with a 9, just because you had some really great moments like with Jesus and with Clementine, and but also I don't know. It didn't have the quite as much as of the amazingness that we got from the Lee and Kenny aesthetic or dynamic.
Yeah. In my opinion, I think I'm gonna go even lower than yours. I'd say at 8.7.
That's
Only
fair.
only reason is because they don't continue Javi in the fourth game at all. She doesn't even reference Javi. She references Gabe as a possibility. Um, but and then like they only showed Jesus for a little bit, which like it would have been fine if they only showed Jesus for like a few seconds because like they showed Glenn in the first game and Herschel. So they
Right.
could have done like that where he was just in there for a few minutes as like a nod to the show and comic book. But you're gonna have him be in a whole episode. You should have him at least be in 3 episodes. So and the episodes were so short. They
They
weren't even an
were.
hour and a half. So I'm gonna have to say 8.7.
I think that's fair. And I also think that um didn't they say that in the fourth game that the community that you end up fighting with was actually fighting with Javi's community?
Yeah,
Wasn't that
but they don't
referenced?
specify that anymore. They just say Richmond, which if you do step up as Javi, I'm pretty sure it's supposed to be Javi. But
Right.
they never say Javi's name or anything. And there's no dialogue options with Lily that you can say about Javi.
And when Clem finds out, she could have literally said she knows those people or she had a good friend. Nothing. They don't reference it at all. I think it's really silly.
Yeah. I don't like how they don't reference him
So now we got
at
to
all.
talk about my favorite. I never asked you which your favorite was.
My ranking is best season 2, then season 4, season 1, then season 3.
It's pretty close to mine. Season 4 is my favorite. First off, before the definitive edition came out, they changed the aesthetic to 4 and they made it
Yeah, I really
feel
like the graphics for 4.
it was, and that intro was so beautiful.
Yeah. Um but um I still like 2 better. I bet you can guess why by my profile picture.
No idea.
Oh yeah, it's because of Jane.
Oh yeah, totally. Jane, that bitch. Okay, so for number 4, we finally get to see after Clem takes off from Richmond and she gets AJ and she has AJ in there, cruising in this like awesome ass car.
Yeah,
And
the way remember the way she got AJ, it wasn't revealed to the I think the second act. second act, fourth episode, where they went to the McCarroll Ranch, and remember they were up in lockers, and there was like a big war going on
Oh,
for some reason over
yes.
there,
He had
and
AJ in a locker. That was
I just
terrible.
said,
I know,
but
but it's
yeah,
sad.
it is. And then I bet the blonde girl you had to shoot, or you would
Yes.
get shot in.
Yeah.
I bet she was like really nice to all the kids because remember when AJ saw her dead, he started crying
Yeah.
even harder than he was.
Yeah. Absolutely. So, but you didn't have a choice in that matter.
Yeah, which sucked.
But
Because they thought
what?
you were one of the people completely against that community.
Yeah, because they said they're not going to let you take the children. So there was obviously some sort of weirdness going on.
No, I think what happened is there was like a war because he said, "I'm not going to let one of you menaces take a child."
Ah, that could be exactly what it is. I love those that was one of the best
Crap.
flashbacks because it was giving us an idea of what Clem actually had to go through, what she fought, and that's what makes me, I know we're not talking about it, but that's what makes me so irritated about that comic, because she fought so hard to get that boy. She put so much of her life and herself on the line, and she wouldn't just up and leave. I'm sorry, you're
Yeah,
full of it.
because she wasn't happy. Like AJ couldn't make her happy. It was
That's
so
bullshit.
annoying.
It is. So let's
And
talk
the
about
art is
4.
terrible.
Yeah, the art is so bad. We find the Erickson,
Yeah.
and now this community is, it reminded me a lot of like the Lost Boys, like the kids are taking over. It's kind of like, I hated, and what's the main guy's name that you end up,
Marlon.
Marlon. I hated his hair
I
so
feel
much.
bad for him though because he probably has so much stress running a bunch of other kids when he just got thrown in and all the adults left. So of course he's gonna make some stupid, terrible mistake. But still,
I mean,
he
pretty
deserved what he
bad of,
got.
yeah, he literally sold children, not sold them, but gave
He
them away
no,
for peace.
it was a trade. Yeah.
Yeah, it was a trade. Okay, yeah, that's so fucked up. And then made everybody believe that he was dead, or that they were dead.
Yeah, they couldn't have at least like tried to get him back, like made Lily think that they were just gonna trade all peacefully, and then they would go on a rescue mission.
What did you think, speaking of Lily, when she showed back up from episode 1?
It was instant chills. I couldn't believe it. I thought she was dead
I
because
thought that was such a good callback.
yeah, you said you thought she was Krista at first.
Yes. And I
What?
was like, oh my God, Krista's alive. But no, it was Lily.
Yeah. Um, what is cool about that is that when you like talk to her, she can say stuff like when Lee left me behind in that herd, and when I shot, what was their name? She says, and then you can say Carly or Doug, depending on who she shot.
Who she shot, yeah. I loved that twist. Like, I didn't expect much from that character ever again. I just assumed she died. And to have her be like this ruthless, very much so like her dad, because her dad was in the military, right?
Yeah. Except he didn't shoot people.
I just mean like that
He probably would
ruthless
have
kind
if
of.
he survived that
Yeah, he
St.
tried to
John.
kill Lee. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah, he did try. I forgot.
Yeah, he tried to. It was such a good callback, and I loved the dynamic at Erickson, because you have a bunch of kids that are not, that are little fuck ups, right? Like, they're there
Yeah.
for a reason, and they all have their own reason, but even as much as they messed up before the
Yeah,
walkers
but if
came
you think
around, they
about
still
it, they
worked.
were like 10 or 11 when they messed up. Because
Yeah.
they're like, well, if you do date Violet, she's 20 and you're 17, or she's 19. So that's weird. You're one of the weirdos.
That's 2 years. 2 years.
No. You're weirdo.
You just like Lewis. That's all it is. But nice try. I love the looking at the stars together. That was so sweet. What happens if you go with Lewis?
If you go with Lewis, he says that they're gonna tune the piano, and you end up doing weird stuff like blowing on the strings. But he eventually says that he just wanted to spend time with you, and it was just kind of wholesome moment.
Aw, that's sweet too. And I love in the stars though. There's that mustache Kenny reference or whatever.
Yeah, and Randy Tudor.
Randy. Oh yeah,
He is referenced there because they have the powerful stash.
the powerful stash. That's right. I love it. And then you can put it on the Etch-a-Sketch later on.
Yeah, that is really good.
What did you think when they add those
Reference.
collectible different things that you could find for your room?
I still haven't collected all the collectibles. I need to do that. I think it's really cool because it adds just more interaction into the game.
And it gives it like your own little personal flair. You're decorating your own room.
Yeah, it is really cool. And it's just kind of cool. But what do you think about Clem being single? Like you can be single.
Oh, I didn't know you could. What happens then?
She just stays single and like you can say that's what friends are for to Violet, or say
Oh,
I
the
have
friend
feelings for
zoner.
you. Yeah, the friend zone, like that's harsh.
I know. Oh, well, that works too because it's apocalypse. It's hard, But I liked the idea of Clem, no matter who it was, having somebody that always had her back, that
Yeah,
would be there and that loved her back. And I thought either way, either person, it was sweet to give her somebody because she's busting her ass to be a mom. I love though how this, because you don't know if AJ is Carver or
AJ
Alvin's.
or Alvin's, yeah.
Yeah, but I love how your decisions and what you teach him mold him towards the end of the game and how they
Yeah,
actually matter.
I don't know. It's because he does look like Alvin, but that could still be from his mom genes. Um, but he acts like Carver sometimes when he says like,
Sometimes.
I'm glad Lily's dead and we needed to kill her.
Like,
Like,
you're like 6, dude.
yeah, like you should be playing with Legos or something.
What did
But
you think
Legos are
about
kind of
the
fire.
Legos are lit? Okay, I just did a cringe.
No more talking.
I love how what did you think of the reveal when you found out that Minerva was alive?
What? Wait, what part are you talking about? When you overhear Marlon or you find her?
Well, I guess I was thinking more when you found her because you didn't know at that point when Marlon said that if she was actually alive or if she was dead.
Yeah. I felt bad for Violet because that was her old girlfriend, and
Yeah,
she thought she was dead, and it was just horrible. Um, and
it was Ten's sister
she
too.
killed her own sister. Remember
Like,
that?
yes, that's so fucked up. She just not even giving it a second thought. Heartless bitch to the point where she traps Clem in the gang in order to, appease her captors. It's so It's like Stockholm Syndrome 101. The girl is crazy. And then one part I do love with her though is when they actually escape and they're trying to go over the bridge and she's singing that song.
Yeah,
I
like
thought
never mind the darkness.
that was so like perfect in that moment. Did you trust AJ or did you not when it came to that part?
I'm 100% glad that I trusted AJ because that would have got my Louie Wooey killed, and that would have been terrible.
That would have been
Lewis,
terrible. Yeah, Lewis already was off. He in my game he
do you
didn't
like
have
my
a tongue at
nickname?
that point.
Do you like
Yes,
my
it's
nickname for
adorable.
her?
He didn't have a tongue in my game.
Yeah, Violet was blind in one eye for me.
That so he really got screwed in that because she still had one eye left that she could see, but he could not sing, he could not talk, he couldn't anything.
Well,
And
his main thing was piano, which is lucky.
he still can do that, but he was such an entertainer. They were like, "Fuck you, give us your tongue." That's so horrible.
I bet because he was talking a lot. That's what they said in the game.
When
And
you finally find
if
him,
you
it's
do not,
heartbreaking.
if you do not save Violet, she gets so mad at you. Like I did it, and she pushes you up against the wall. You have a fight scene with her. It's
Oh
like,
my gosh.
um,
That's terrible.
okay,
Not Violet, she's awesome.
but imagine doing the bad decisions, falling in love with one of them, then letting that one get captured. That'd be so mean.
You're kind of a dick if that's what you do. Oh
Yeah,
my god. I really thought that um part with the song was beautiful, and it led right into the most emotional moment of all of these games. All of them.
I cried.
All of them. I bawled. I thought she was dead. I thought there was no way.
Yeah, but
And
Minerva did a favor. She cut the circulation, and then when she got bit, AJ could just cut it off.
yeah, but it didn't. I guess I guess looking at the way Lee looked when he got bit, he was so gray, and we didn't see that quite
She
as
was
much,
kind of greenish gray too, though.
but not as dark. I don't know. They
I
really
don't
led you
feel
to
like that
believe.
was an Easter egg thing. I just think their graphics got a little better.
That's true. That's very true. I thought that part, like, I did not want to finish the game. I was so mad at it when you when you had to play as AJ. I'm like, no. Like, I liked it afterwards, but I was like, this is terrible. You take my heart and rip it out, and I didn't even I should have known that they wouldn't do that, but come
Yeah,
on.
because the comics.
It's the
You knew the
comics.
comics were out, and you were like, "She's dead."
I was so heartbroken.
I actually watched this YouTuber played it. Iberleezy, was his name, and he also cried during it.
I don't know how, like, I don't know how you couldn't cry at that moment. That was heart-wrenching. And for AJ at that young of an age to almost be going through exactly what she went through with Lee is terrible. It
And
was
she
so
knew
sad.
exactly how it felt for him because
Uh-huh.
she had to do it for Lee.
And then you
Wait,
go into that flashback, and then you come back as AJ. So I'm like, "Oh my god, no. No. Why would you do this?" In the moment she walked out, like, my world was okay again.
yeah, like it's such an emotional roller coaster because one moment they have you bawling, but then you're just smiling through your tears when Clem is pushing AJ on that tire swing.
It is, like, it's so sweet, and that ending is so wholesome, and it's just all they want nothing more than to just live. And it's such a good kind of cap to the series that I feel like I would much rather have just left it there than had them continue through the books.
Yeah, me too. Because like it just kind of ruins the whole thing about Clementine. Not even getting them, even if they did do the comics right, you wouldn't get to make decisions. It's not like Skybound would have a community vote on their page. Like,
Yeah, you don't get the molding aspect that
I
you
just
got through the
wish
game.
they made a season 5. Like they didn't. It didn't even have to be continuing Clem's story. It could have been like a what if game. Like what if Kenny survived? What if Lee never got bit? That would have been really cool. Like Marvel's what if.
That would be awesome. Or, like, even continue it through AJ but have flashbacks. Something. Just give us like, I think that is one of this franchise I never hear anybody talk bad about. I don't hear anybody say these hate these games. Like, these games are liquid money. Make more. Come on now.
Yeah, but I really think that they should. Well, if you go to Wellington in the second season, Kenny gives his hat to you to give to AJ, but then it never shows up again.
Oh, that's weird. I didn't even know that. Fuck Wellington. Stay with Kenny. You have to stay
Yeah.
with Kenny. Okay, so what do you rate number 4 out of 10?
Uh, this game was amazing. My only flaw with it was it didn't have a fifth episode.
Yeah. Like, the worst thing about it is I wanted more.
9.99 in my opinion. Only
Yep.
reason they didn't
Same.
have a fifth episode. Um, it was such an amazing game though. It was like a complete emotional roller coaster.
Oh, I want to make sure we didn't talk about James at all. I want to.
Oh yeah,
What did
I
you think
forgot
about the
about that weirdo.
walker? The idea of the walkers be living. Oh God, living with these muertos or walkers.
Or biters or lurkers or
Yeah.
rotters. Um, I don't think that there's any chance whatsoever that they have some life inside them.
No, I
Oh,
feel
we
like that
barely
would be a
touched up on
hell.
this. What did you think when Marlon got shot and then it was AJ that pulled the trigger?
That was probably, besides Clem, at the end. That was my biggest what the fuck moment. Because
Yeah.
I never expected that. Never. Not from that little boy.
I told him it wasn't justified. My only reasoning is, I didn't want him to think that murdering unarmed people was okay.
Yeah, and I didn't want to make him feel bad, so I told him it was justified.
Wait, did you shoot Lily or did you not?
Shoot.
I didn't. That's the thing. I did not my first run, only because I took James' advice and I didn't want him to be a psychopath. But then James got a knife in the back of his neck.
See, James survived for me, and he got real mean. And then he ended up kind of sacrificing himself, but he's another one of those that you weren't quite sure if he died, unless, Lily killed him. But James, to me, was a weird character because I get the pacifist.
Hey, what'd you think about Willie and his in his confession when you guys were having the party?
Wait, which part?
Remember when you're having the party and like right before the Lee flashback?
What was the confession?
Chronic masturbation.
Oh my God, I forgot. Willie was such a weird character.
He's the best character in the fourth game.
He was in Chronic. What the? Okay, kid, you're like 12.
Wait, hold on. How young was he when he got sent there? He was like 9. He had to be.
Oh my God, yeah, and that was his worry at 9 years old. Holy crap! I just all right, little
Clem
boy.
was playing with chalk.
Wait, what?
Clem was just playing with chalk at 9 years old.
Yeah, and he was worried about chronic masturbation. Okay.
Wait, remember the Lee flashback?
When you're on the train?
Yeah.
That was a beautiful flashback.
Yeah, and it was so cool that we know that it's not actually Lee, but we do want it to be Lee, so it is actually Lee.
Right.
And it's so cool that that's like kind of her way to cope with things, and you get to Lee gets to see her as fully grown.
Yeah, and it's kind of a great way for closure for her also.
Yeah.
It works. It's so sweet, and I love the dialogue I chose was about AJ, where she says, "You'd be so proud," and I was like, "Oh, my heart!"
And he said, "More than I already am."
I know, it was so dang sweet. I liked the way that was a very like almost healthier way to deal with all of the trauma. I thought it was
instead of
so
shooting
sweet.
people, Lily.
Yeah, probably a better way than shooting people, definitely.
Lily.
I mean, unless it's Lily or the girl from season 3.
No, I mean Lily getting shot.
I'm okay
Lily
with
shooting.
Lily getting.
I mean.
Yeah. I Lily, that was a great callback, but Lily just fucking bitch.
Yeah, you can insult Lily's dad when you're in the cages.
Oh my God, I should have. That's hilarious.
I think you did.
No,
we should probably
I didn't
cut
even.
that
part out. Oh goodness gracious. Okay, guys, we are going to wrap up, but make sure
to subscribe to my channel.
That's what I was just gonna say. Make sure you check out Kenny Edits down in the description below. His channel is dedicated to this amazing game. Even after 10 years, we are still talking about how damn good it is. And I plan on doing
3 years from the 4th game, but yeah.
Yeah, well, I mean, altogether. And I plan on doing a walkthrough or a game live streams on this, and I'm gonna.
Oh wait, hold on. We didn't even talk a little bit of Michonne.
We'll save Michonne. We'll do a separate one for Michonne in 300, 400 days.
400. Wait, what?
300, 400, 200, 100.
287 days.
That's right. All right, guys. We will see you next time. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
I'm not just a